I want to be exponentially clear. Elon Musk could be the most powerful person in this country. He could be the most powerful person in the world. He could be the most powerful person in the entire galaxy. And I would still think of him as the most pathetic little whiny who's ever walked this planet. He is the poster child of going to a group of people at a party, saying a joke, they ignore him, saying the joke again, and they say, "We heard you the first time." That's why he's investing in robots, so he can program them to be like, "Elon's the best, I love Elon." Because there's no way he's getting that admiration in real life without his money being involved. And even that's not enough. He has to go around making his own accounts to compliment himself because no one else will give what he needs. He has so many kids that he could get validation by being a good parent, but that's too hard. Being a good person is just far too hard for him. He wants to be a bad person, but everyone see him as a good person.
To the 68% of you Latinos that voted against your own goddamn people, you aren't invited to the damn barbecue anymore. You're a bunch of pieces of
If you're a Trump supporter in the United States or even here in Canada, you're dumb as a bag of rocks. It's that simple. I've met cats and dogs smarter than Trump supporters. Do better, dummies.
It's what?
The man's got a MAGA hat as well.
He's MAGA
He's
hat.
wearing a MAGA hat. Oh my god, he's wearing a MAGA. He's wearing a MAGA hat. Panic. Everyone panic.
What's a MAGA hat?
What's a MAGA hat? Make America great again, Donald Trump.
Who's that?
Who's Donald Trump?
No, who's got a MAGA hat?
The man in the father.
Hey, Mr. President, forgive me while I bash my head against this wall. 'Cause you can be a man in power, and it really doesn't matter how many women you assault. It's a human rights crisis, but at least there's lower gas prices. How could I complain? Guess I didn't realize sticking up for my rights makes me completely insane. Hey, Mr. Felonist, if you can't get a job run for president, if you're a white man, winning will be hard. I guess ignorance really is bliss. With all the facts that you dismiss, I'm surprised you've made it this far.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on.
I got a question for everyone who voted for Trump because they thought he would fix the economy. Who are you blaming for the fact that the cost of eggs has continued to rise even though he's president right now? Who are you going to blame when the cost of our produce skyrockets because hundreds, if not thousands, of undocumented immigrants did not show up for work yesterday and therefore did not pick our produce because they were afraid that they were going to get deported? Who are you going to blame for that? You can't blame Biden. They didn't show up because they didn't want to be deported. Biden wasn't trying to deport them. Who's trying to deport them? Who are you blaming for when the cost of everything that we import from China, Canada, and Mexico goes up because the tariffs that are being imposed on them are being now offset onto us? Who are you blaming for that? Biden? He's not the one imposing tariffs on these countries. Trump is. And those tariffs are not paid for by the country. The country does not pay the tariff in order to import the goods to us. The country imports the goods to us, and in order for the importer here in America, the American buyer, to pick up those goods, they have to pay the tariff first. And so they turn around and put that cost back on us. Who are you blaming for that? Oh, it's gonna encourage companies to start manufacturing here in America. We don't have the infrastructure for that. They have never spent the money to build the factories to make those specific goods that we import from other countries because they didn't need to. We get it from other countries. Now, who is going to pay to build the factories and the other infrastructure required to now make those goods here and pay workers here at our minimum wage and not whatever it is they make in their country? Who is going to pay for that? And when the cost of everything increases because of needing to build this infrastructure. Who are you going to blame for that? Are you going to blame Biden? Because Biden isn't the one who imposed a tariff on these countries in order to encourage companies, and I say in order, in quotes, because we know that's not what it was about, in order to encourage these countries to start manufacturing here. You can't blame Biden. Trump is the reason the prices of everything are about to go up. Trump is the reason. And you voted for this shit.
Okay, so this is hilarious. I just saw this white lady on here complaining that she just lost her job because she was hired under the diversity, equity, and inclusion program at her work. And you can see she didn't want to say it, but she really wanted to be like, but I'm not black. But that's not what diversity, equity, inclusion meant. The #1 recipient of DEI hires is white women. The #1 people who have benefited the most from this whole affirmative action and DEI hire has been white women, 100%. And now all these white women who voted for Donald Trump are going to find out that DEI included them. And I'm sorry, but this is one of the best around and find out moments yet. Because these women are the ones who deserve to be fired. I'm sorry, like, if you voted for Donald Trump and you get fired because you were a DEI hire, don't come looking to me for sympathy.
House Bill 1484. This is happening right now, and I'm just going to read it to you so that you don't think that I'm misinterpreting anything in this bill. The offense of trespass by an illegal alien under this section is a felony for which the authorized term of imprisonment is life imprisonment without eligibility for probation, parole, conditional release, or release except by any act of the governor or natural death of such person. With me? The department shall develop and maintain an information system that operates at all times and provides various means to receive and maintain reports of violations of this act. The various means of receiving such reports shall include, but are not unlimited to, a toll-free telephone hotline, email address, and online reporting portal. The department shall periodically publicize the hotline phone number, email address, internet website address, and any other means by which the department may receive such reports. If an illegal alien is arrested and imprisoned under this section as a result of a report to the information system, the person who made the report shall be eligible to receive a reward of $1,000 for providing such report. The department shall develop and implement the Mississippi Illegal Alien Certified Bounty Hunter Program, which is hereby created to certify applicants to the program as certified bounty hunters for purposes of finding and detaining illegal aliens in this state under this section. I just want to remind you that prison is the only place where slavery is still legal, and just for the crime of being in this country, you will be imprisoned for the rest of your life as a slave with no chance to ever be released.
Cattle ranchers in the state of Nebraska who voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump fear the impact on their businesses when Donald Trump implements his mass deportation program that he campaigned on for almost 2 years, that they voted for. And now they're realizing that if he actually implements it, they'll go bankrupt. He told you for almost 2 years that he was going to deport 20 million Hispanic, Latino, undocumented immigrants living and working in the United States. You voted for that. And as cattle ranchers in the state of Nebraska, your business and your profitability depends and relies on undocumented immigrant workers who are now going to be deported by the guy that you voted for who said he was going to do that. How dumb are you people?
All of the Latinos that voted for Trump because, I don't know, the price of eggs, and now they are confused and appalled by all of the decisions that he is making. We told you. So I feel so bad about everything he's doing, but I'm not surprised. I'm just sitting here like, he said that that's what he was gonna do, and he's doing it. The mass deportations, ending birthright citizenship. I got so many people came after me like, he can't do that. Oh no, he'll find a way. He did. He sure did. And now you have people scared shitless. We told you so. We around. Now we're finding out if it isn't the consequences to your actions. And this is exactly what happens when people vote against their own interests, regardless of how much you've been convinced or you've convinced yourself that you are not part of. You're not. If you are Latino, you're Latino, regardless of where you go, what you do, how much money you make, how whitewashed you are, how white adjacent you are. If you're Latino, you're Latino, and the consequences of your actions are gonna align with what you are. That's exactly what it is. And I just, seeing it play out in real time when like the people that knew is kind of crazy. Seeing Elon Musk salute on national television, I just, we told you so. We told you so. And he has not talked not once about the price of eggs or bringing down anything or the economy or whatnot. He's cutting ties with everyone. He's firing everyone. He's tweeting. He's mass deporting. He's doing everything but he told you he would do to help you. So good luck to all of us, but especially to the people that voted for him. I hope that your pillow is never cold. Never.
This is crazy that starting next week, multiple cities will be hitting immigration. That is so crazy that multiple people are scared to go to work. Where I work at, a lot of Latinos did not go to work. And that's crazy because we have a living too. I hate that I voted for him. Now I'm so scared for my family and y'all family. Y'all, we need to come together and do something about this. This is so crazy that we voted for Trump. We trust him with the word that he promised us Latinos.
The word that he promised was that he was going to deport you.
I hate that I voted for him. Now I'm so scared for my family and y'all family. Y'all, we need to come together and do something about this.
They're coming together to do something about this. It's called voting. And that happened a couple of months ago on November 5th. And you still decided to walk your Latina ass up in that voting booth and vote for a man that repeatedly told you that he was coming for you to deport you. And at this point, more than anything, I want you to get exactly what you voted for. I want you to feel the powerful consequences of your vote. If they do take your grandma and your grandpa, I want you to know that you did that to them. They got taken away because of you. And for the rest of us as a community, we can never let MAGA voters like her forget how damaging their vote was. We need to constantly remind them. Never let them forget. As far as us getting together to do something about it, I will never in my life trust a Latino for Trump. You're a danger to yourself, you're a danger to your family, and you're a danger to your community. And I want nothing to do with you, and I don't feel sorry for you.
Cop just left my house on this cold this morning. I can tell you why he was here. He pulls up my driveway, said, "I'm here to search property for some illegal herbs." He said, "Ain't nothing here. I don't know why you searching my property." He said, "Well, we've got a tip that you grow in illegal herbs." So, well, go ahead and search away, but I wouldn't go in the pasture behind the house. He said, "Look here, you see this badge? It says I can go anywhere I want to." All right, fine. Go back there in the pasture behind the house. I wouldn't do it. So I go back doing what I'm doing. He's walking around looking. All of a sudden I see him going to the pasture behind the house. It's like, this ain't gonna be good. So I keep doing what I'm doing. All of a sudden I hear him hollering. Go around the back and looking. He's running across the pasture. The bull's right behind him. I'm like, well, I better do something. This bull's gonna catch him. He's a lot faster than this cop's running. So I run up to the fence, look at him, show him your badge. Show him your badge. That'll work.
Shit's getting really wild if you're paying attention. So, Oklahoma. Let's talk about Oklahoma. Anyone familiar with Senate Bill 228? So there's something in there called like the Marriage Covenant Act. And if you do a covenant marriage, as opposed to just like, marrying like everyone else did, a covenant marriage, you get a $2,500 tax break. Sounds great. And if you have a regular marriage, you can even convert your marriage into a covenant marriage. So what is a covenant marriage? Basically, instead of doing it before like the government, you're doing it before God. You're signing a contract with God, which like some people were doing anyways in a church, whatever. But this one is serious. So first you have to agree to like premarital counseling for like a year, which honestly, like you should just maybe consider that, but no one should force you to do it. Then after you're married, getting divorced is extremely difficult and actually only possible if one of three things happens. The preponderance of evidence, which as someone in true crime, it can mean a lot. The preponderance of evidence shows that there was abuse against you or child, physical or sexual, mental, not listed. 2, if adultery was committed. Or 3, if there was abandonment for more than a year. So you're gonna have to prove that, first of all, which like as someone who has covered domestic violence in all its forms many, many times and watched, studied how that plays out, good luck. Good luck proving that to a court if you are a woman, a man, any person trying to get out of a marriage that the other person probably doesn't want to get out of. Good luck. And then for people in a covenant marriage who have marital difficulties, whatever they deem that to be, you are encouraged to seek counseling. Therapist not listed, but a minister, a clergy member, or a counselor. And a counselor can mean a lot of things, but I see that a lot in churches. Then there are tax breaks based on the children you have and when you had them and who you had them with and if you're married while you're taking care of them. You get a $500 tax break for any child who is 18 and living in the home of a mother and father who are married. You have to be married to get the tax break. You get $1,000 though if that child was born after you said I do. No tax breaks if you have a child out of wedlock, if you are a single parent, which maybe feels like the people who could really use a tax break.
They give birth and that's automatically a citizen. No, you need to go through the proper channel.
I feel like there's something in the Bible about that where someone goes into a foreign area and gives birth. I don't know. There's gotta. When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? As ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me. What do you think it's about?
The only thing I can say is until we get our own people under control, I'm not worried about anybody outside this country.
We were talking about immigration. There were some parts in it that I thought were like pro-immigration.
They are. Jesus was an immigrant, right? Illegal immigrant?
No, he was born in Nazareth.
It was like an anchor baby.
Raised in Egypt. He did not apply for visas. He never came in through any country legally. If people come to our country and we don't give them home, we don't give them food, we don't give them water, if Jesus was here right now, would you let him in?
As long as he went through the proper, as long as he
came here legally. As long as Jesus Christ came to this country legally, we would let him in. Thank you. No, thank you.
This message is for any Asian MAGA out there. We're next. I want to remind you that we are closer to the undocumented immigrants that are being deported right now than we are to them. We have more in common to the undocumented immigrants than we do to them. You remember how quickly MAGA turned on us during COVID, and it didn't matter if you were Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, Filipinos. To them, we were just chinks responsible for the China flu. It is foolish and frankly embarrassing that you think just because you wear the red hat that you're going to be spared when your time comes. This country is never going to be pure enough or white enough, and they are never going to accept you the way that you accept them. They have forgotten that they too have immigrants' blood in them, but let us not forget the crazy, difficult journey our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents took to get here, to escape their country for a chance of a better life. This is not it. Everybody deserves that chance.
All right, white women, circle up. Listen, ladies, ICE raids are coming, all right? They've even started already in some places, and no location is off limits this time around, not even schools or churches. So you know what that means, right? That's right. It's time for us to put our very best Karen skills to good work. Now, I don't want to hear none of y'all hopping into my mentions going, Kendall, I don't know how to Karen. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We all do. Let's not pretend that that skill doesn't come as a part of our default package straight out of the factory, all right? So here are your marching orders. If you see an ICE official, be that at your job, at your school, at your church, anywhere in your community, if you see an immigration official, you go full DEFCON Karen immediately. I'm talking pull out all of the stops, whatever you can do to distract that official and waste his time. I'm talking complaints. I'm talking demands to see his superior officer. I'm talking long rambling stories about people he's never met and situations that are fully unrelated. Nothing is off the table. And if all of that fails, you pull out the white woman Hail Mary. That's right. I'm talking about white lady tears. I don't care if you have to pull a full-blown temper tantrum in front of that immigration official. You do whatever you have to do to become a physical barrier between that immigration official and the vulnerable members of your community that he is targeting. Ladies, listen, we have trained for this moment. Our grandmothers trained for this moment, and their grandmothers before them. Karening is our ancestral legacy. Only this time, we have an opportunity to put the skill to work for good, to do something for our community instead of against it. I believe in you, ladies, all right? I believe in you. Now you get out there and you wreck the absolute shit out of some immigration official's day. Good luck.
I want all of you brain dead, cowardly. Both sides are the same. I can't vote because of my conscience. Dip weasel motherfuckers to come sit right front and center. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement is raiding elementary schools and ripping patients from hospital beds. Corporations across the country are slashing their diversity initiatives. The richest man in the world is goose-stepping on stage at a presidential inauguration while that same president talks about cleaning out Gazans and running for infinity terms. It has been 1 week. Tell me again how both sides are the fucking same. If the same number of people who had voted for Biden in 2020 voted for Kamala in 2024, she would have won. And none of this would be happening, which means you could have prevented this. You could have listened to the millions of queer people, the millions of black women who have never been wrong when they warned you, but you let your arrogance take precedence over the lives, safety, and well-being of children. You will never be as bad as the people who actively support these measures, but you're close. I hope your conscience is intact. I hope you choke on it.
Hey. A highly critical view of Elon Musk, portraying him as someone desperate for admiration but incapable of earning it genuinely. They allege that he resorts to creating fake accounts to praise himself and suggest that he finds being a good person too difficult, instead preferring to be perceived positively despite his actions. The sources also argue that while Musk has many children, he does not seek validation through parenthood. Regarding Trump voter regret, the the sources highlight various cases where individuals who supported Trump are now facing unintended consequences of his policies. Some voters, including Latinos and white women, now regret their decision as they experienced job losses, fear of deportation, and economic hardships. A notable example is a Trump-supporting couple devastated when the wife's job offer at the VA was rescinded due to Trump's hiring freeze. Similarly, cattle ranchers in Nebraska, who once backed Trump, now worry about the impact of mass deportations on their labor force. The sources suggest that many Trump voters expected his policies to harm others, not themselves, and now face backlash for voting against their own interests. Immigration raids emerge as a major issue, with reports of widespread fear within immigrant communities. The sources describe mass deportations, ICE raids in public places like schools and hospitals, and families being torn apart. A controversial bounty hunter program in Mississippi is mentioned, offering rewards for reporting undocumented immigrants. The sources argue that many Latinos who voted for Trump are now suffering the consequences, with some expressing regret and others receiving little sympathy. There is also a call for resistance against immigration enforcement, with some sources encouraging disruption of ICE operations. Political polarization is a recurring theme, with strong divisions between Trump supporters and opponents. The sources convey disdain for Trump voters, portraying them as uninformed and self-destructive. Stories of regret among Trump voters are highlighted, particularly among those who have lost jobs or face deportation fears. Racial and ethnic tensions are underscored, with sources pointing out that even white women who supported Trump are now affected by DI-related job losses. The divide extends to government policies, with criticism of efforts like the bounty hunter program and mass deportations. There is a clear us versus them mentality, with some expressing a refusal to trust Latinos who voted for Trump, calling them a danger to their community. Lastly, the sources discuss Oklahoma's covenant marriage law, which offers tax incentives for couples who enter into a binding religious marriage contract. This type of marriage requires premarital counseling and significantly limits divorce, allowing it only in cases of child abuse, adultery, or abandonment. Additional tax breaks are provided based on children born within the marriage, while single parents and children born out of wedlock receive no benefits. The sources argue that the law favors traditional married couples and makes it difficult for individuals, particularly those in abusive relationships, to leave their marriage.